pretty flat. Luke was glad to hear a note of nervousness in the kid's voice. Well, they weren't too bad when I won Wimbledon. 3 times. Not to mention this tournament once. Granted, that was 4 years ago now. Jesse rinsed the shampoo out of his hair and turned the water off. No argument here. Look, I was just wondering if maybe you wanted to play doubles at Indian Wells. I think our games would mesh really well. But forget it. He slung his towel around his slim hips. He was around 5'7" and slight, but toned and in great shape. He didn't have a power game, but if Luke recalled correctly, he made up for it with his speed. See ya. Then he was gone, and Luke closed his eyes again, wishing he could just be home in his bed in Malibu. Instead, he had yet another hotel room to go to, with an ugly duvet and nouveau art on the wall that was all the same, no matter which city he was in. He sighed and turned the water up hotter. The airport lounge was packed, and Luke pulled his baseball cap down further over his brown hair. Mirrored sunglasses hid his green eyes, and as he folded his long, lean frame into a chair, he hoped no one would recognize him. He wasn't in the mood to put on a smile and sign autographs, but at 6 feet 2 inches, with a taut, finely muscled body and a face that People magazine had called movie star handsome on more than one occasion, Luke tended to stick out in a crowd. The Aussies were huge tennis fans, so the tournament played on every available screen, much to Luke's dismay. He just wanted to forget about this particular competition and look towards the next Grand Slam event, the French Open. He didn't have much of a shot of winning it, but stranger things had happened. Luke still had almost an hour to kill, so his gaze inevitably drifted to the closest screen. He felt a strange little jolt when he recognized the player in the far court. Jesse McAllister's blonde hair was practically glowing in the sun, sweat dripping down his brow. He'd made it to the 3rd round, but was now playing one of the top seeds. He was down 2 sets and a break. It wasn't looking good. Once a player had lost a game he was serving, his serve was broken. Since a set must be won by 2 games, the other player gained the advantage. Jesse managed to break back to even the set, and Luke found himself getting more and more involved in the match. Jesse played with a grace that many compared to Bjorn Borg, and what he lacked in power he made up for with finesse. The kid was right. Their games would mesh well. As Jesse toweled off during a changeover, Luke's boarding call crackled over the loudspeakers. On screen, Jesse pulled his shirt over his head, his lightly tanned chest glistening. 20 minutes later, Jesse lost the match in a 3rd-set tiebreak, and Luke sprinted to make his flight. Once the plane was in the air, Luke tried to relax. Thankfully, the seat next to his in first class was empty, so he didn't need to make small talk. He watched a movie and picked at his dinner. Eventually, he popped a couple of heavy-duty sleeping pills and didn't wake up again until the California coast was in sight. The traffic out of LAX was terrible, but that was nothing new. The driver looked in his rearview mirror often and tried to engage Luke in conversation. He was cute enough, and Luke thought briefly about telling him to pull over and join him in the back seat once they reached the quiet, hilly back roads near his house. As usual, the words just wouldn't come. He needed a shower and a drink, not necessarily in that order. The house smelled stale, although the maid had clearly been by that morning to spruce things up. Cut flowers graced his kitchen table, and the fridge contained all his favorite foods. Luke opened a beer and walked out onto his deck. The sun had set, the quarter moon casting only a little light on the waves he could hear lapping at the beach in the distance. His pool and tennis court lay below, both immaculately kept. He took a swig of beer and sighed. Tomorrow it would all start again, the inexorable push towards the next tournament. He'd practice and prepare, and would probably lose early on if his recent luck held. The thought flitted through his mind again. Maybe it was time for a coach. He hadn't had one for 2 years now. At the thought, pain blossomed in his chest, regular as clockwork. He slammed the rest of his beer back and headed upstairs. His bedroom was large, with French doors that opened onto a balcony that overlooked